What it do, boo-boos? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another week of the Sitting Ducks Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Pitbullkid, here solo again. Gotta be honest, guys, don't know what's going on with Triston. Haven't heard from him. But speaking of Triston, let's just go ahead and throw a hashtag fuck Triston in the chat, because he done an injustice to us. And if you watched last week's podcast, you know what that is. So until that injustice is right, or righted, written, fixed, whatever you want to call it, we're just going to keep throwing hashtag fuck Triston. But in all seriousness, I haven't heard from Triston in like 3 weeks. He's in MIA. No clue what's going on there. Hope everything's all right with him. And then Cyborg got a new job. He's kind of busy with that. Got a lot going on right now. Family in town, things like that. So give him a little bit of a pass this week. And it's just going to be me and you guys. Just like last week, I'm going to throw on some chill music. And we're just going to talk. We got a lot to go over this week. I finally got caught up on E3. So that's what we're going to talk about for the most part. Just all the E3 stuff with EA, Square Enix, Ubisoft. And that's pretty much what we're going to talk about this week. Let's see. This past week, I've been playing a lot of Rust. Been getting back into that. And that game sucks me in. When I get into Rust, I'm into it. And I'm very disappointed in myself. Me and Cyborg played Rust Monday, and the server that we play on wipes every Monday and every Thursday. So it, for those of you that don't know, a wipe, it like redoes the whole map. You get a brand new map, randomly generated, and you lose all your gear, and you start back at square one, and everybody has to build back up, and it's a new story every wipe, right? And wipes are very important. If you play Rust a lot, you know that wipe day is, you either love it or you hate it. And for the most part, I've always hated wipe days. You got everybody going after the same. It's just a clusterfuck. The second day after wipe and so on, I love, but wipe day, never been fond of. Well, this wipe day, we had a phenomenal wipe. It was incredible, and I'm so upset that me and Cyborg were not recording this, because it would have made a dope-ass fucking video. But other than that, I haven't really played anything. Got a new haircut. Think I'm looking pretty spiffy, if you ask me. Just got done doing some work around the house, so I do need to go take a shower. But I wanted to bust out this podcast before. Let's see what else. It's currently June 26th, and that means Steam Summer Sale is live and in full effect. So all my PC gamers out there, make sure to go pick up some titles at extreme discounts. There's probably tens of thousands of games that are on sale right now with ridiculous discounts. And it goes from June 25th all the way to July 9th. As of now, the only games I have in my cart is Refunked, which I just saw this game the other day at the homepage. It looks to be kind of like a little puzzle platformer style game. Anyways, it's overwhelmingly positive with over 12,000 reviews, and it's only 89 cents. Like, come on. There's no way I'm going to pass that up. I want to play Tale of Innocence. I've heard a lot of good things about that game, and I believe it just came out not too long ago. Outward, it's like this MMORPG that you can play co-op. Be excited to get like Cyborg in there with me. Hellblade, great single player experience. Want to pick that up and play through it myself. And then Astroneer, which is like a survival space exploration type game. Real kiddie kind of art style. I really dig the art style, but I want to try it for myself. Very positive, over almost 30,500 reviews, and that's all I have right now. Now, I will say I haven't really gone through the summer sale and really picked it apart quite yet. But as of day 2, those are what I have in my cart that I will be picking up. If y'all have any suggestions, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. Whether you just want to see the Sitting Ducks play through it, whether you just want us to talk about it, get our opinion, whatever the case may be, leave a comment down below. If you're a PC gamer, now is the time to pick up games. Also, yesterday, June 25th, the Hunter Call of the Wild released their new map, the Yukon Valley, which takes place in Alaska. And it looks to be a pretty dope map. Have yet to play it. I'm sure I will at some point this week. You know, I get in these phases where I get really into something and I just play. And that's kind of how my hunting games are. Really get into it, and then I kind of, you know, burn myself out or whatever. So, get the true rack and all that shit out the way right now. That map came out. If you're a Hunter Call of the Wild fan, pick it up. Looks to be a great fucking map. The game's gorgeous. I'm sure at some point me and Cyborg will play on it, make some videos. Fun fact, we have like 62 video ideas for the Hunter Call of the Wild. And the very first video we made fucking discouraged us from ever making a video on that game again, because we tried so hard and we just kept fucking it up. But I'm sure at some point we'll revisit it and get some dope videos out for you guys. But other than that, not a whole lot going on with me. I don't know if we mentioned hashtag fuck Triston, but in case we didn't, there it is again. Hashtag fuck Triston. Let's see. So yeah, let's talk about E3, or finish talking about, I guess I should say. If you watched last week's podcast, you know that I did not watch the entirety of E3. I only watched I only watched Microsoft and Bethesda, and that's actually here on the channel. If you want to see me and Cyborg react to it, feel free to go check that out. But, you know, this was the first E3 that I kind of like, you know, I was in a bit of a funk, going through some stuff, so I really didn't catch anything other than the first two press conferences. So, like the good gamer I am and podcast host, I went and I watched EA's, Square Enix, and Ubisoft's, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we got a lot to talk about. Now, I will say, I didn't fully watch any of these. Excuse me. I didn't fully watch any of these press conferences. Half of these press conferences were filled with crap that I could care less to. And luckily for me, there's amazing people in this world that put all the timestamps in the comment section below, so I can quickly skim through it and pick what I want to watch and what I don't. So let's start off with EA. Could not give two shits. EA, what the fuck? Y'all really fucked it up this year, man. So originally, I went to YouTube EA press conference, looked at the YouTube video, and saw it was over 3 hours. I think over 3.5 hours. So I was like, what the fuck? They must be going over a fuck ton of stuff. To be honest, didn't want to sit through 3.5 hours for EA. And then I opened it and realized they only talked about 5 fucking games. 4 of which are coming out. But nothing exciting, right? Like, it starts off Star Wars Jedi Fallen, right? If you're a Star Wars fan, this is probably good news to you. Even though I'll fully admit I skipped right over this. Pretty much skipped right over this press conference. But never been a Star Wars fan. It's just not my cup of tea. Fun fact, never even watched a Star Wars movie except for the Clone Wars, the cartoon one. But I don't really think that counts. So I've never really been into it. Played the original Battlefront. Thought it was a fun game. Thought it was a thankless shooter though. Wasn't really a whole lot to it, and was pretty easy if you knew what to do on console and you had a pair of thumbs to dominate plebs in it. So didn't hold my attention for very long. Think it's a gorgeous game, one of the best looking games of all time. That goes for all the Star Wars games. So when Battlefront 2 came out, wasn't really interested, and then it had all the controversy with microtransactions and all that. Definitely don't give a fuck. So I'm hoping for all my Star Wars fans out there, they can release the Star Wars Jedi Fallen and do it justice, and y'all can actually get a great Star Wars game under the belt, because it has been a hot minute. I think the last good Star Wars game came out like original Xbox or something. So I'm hoping that they do justice by you guys, and y'all are able to finally get a good Star Wars game that you can sink your teeth into, and it's not riddled with all the bullshit that EA has been doing with their games lately. Next up in the press conference, we had Apex Legends. I've said this in recent podcasts. I'm kind of over the whole battle royale phase that we're going through in the gaming world. Like, I have never played Apex Legends. I watched it, looks kind of cool, but like I said, I'm just kind of over this battle royale genre. And the only real way you can interest me in a battle royale at this point, if you come out with like another PUBG, something more slow paced, something more realistic, something like that. Okay, we can test it out. We can test the waters, and I'm talking about like a real one, like a game specifically made for battle royale, not like Battlefield where they came out with their own battle royale. I don't care about that. I want like a PUBG standalone, dope ass, slower paced battle royale. I can get behind that. But all these futuristics, Apex, Fortnite, all these futuristic battle royales, I'm just over it, man. I'm just over it. I'm tired of it. Have no interest in playing battle royale right now. And that's where I stand on that. So I skipped over Apex, went to Battlefield 5, watched a little bit of it. Nothing really cool there that really drug me in. And this is coming from a huge fucking Battlefield fan. I'm a massive Battlefield fan. Okay, I started playing I've been playing Battlefield since Modern Combat. I think that was the name of that Battlefield. Came out before Bad Company 2. And I played that for a little bit. Played Bad Company 2 quite a bit when that came out. Played Battlefield 3 a little bit when that came out. And then when Battlefield 4 came out, man, I went balls deep in that motherfucker. Because that was like when the end of the COD wave was down and I was looking for something else to play. And that's when I could really dive into another game. Because like Battlefield 3 and all those, I loved them. Thought they were great games. But COD had me by the balls. And I couldn't escape that grip. So once COD kind of went on the decline and I was looking for a new competitive FPS game, Battlefield 4 caught me. And I fucking love that game. Thousands of hours in that game. It's one of my favorite multiplayer games of all time. The sniping, just everything about it's great, right? Like for me, the key points of Battlefield: large scale warfare, right? You have vehicles, you have these giant maps, so it's literally like its own war at A, at B, at D, at E. You know, all these different flags have their own battle going on, and it is so incredibly fun, right? And then you have the immense amount of weapons, tons of weapons. I'm talking about Battlefield 4 here, tons of weapons, right? Tons of attachments, tons of gadgets. You have all this variety in the game that made it so fucking fun, and that you could change the gameplay experience so drastically by just making minute changes. You don't feel like running and gunning? Cool. I'm gonna hop in a tank with my buddy and we're just gonna go around and just fuck shit up. You don't want to do that? Cool. Let's get in a helicopter. Let's get in a jet. Let's snipe across the map and get 2 or 3 kills a game, but those 2 or 3 kills are going to be freaking insane. Like, that is what Battlefield is all about. I remember Battlefield 4 came out with that nighttime map, Graveyard Shift, on the one map where they essentially just remade it. Anyways, you know how many hundreds of hours we put into that map where we were just acting like SEAL team, and we're just, all right, man, moving up, contact left, just fucking shit. We'd pick a building, we'd just hold that building down. And you know how it is in FPS games, you piss somebody off and then you just gotta try to get your revenge on that guy. So they just kept coming back, and it was just like, how long can we hold this building down? Just incredible. So many fond memories with Battlefield 4. And then we had Battlefield 1 come out, and it was a great game. It was fun, but it wasn't Battlefield for me, right? You had the large scale warfare. I hated the vehicles in that game. I felt like tanks and everything were overpowered. And I'm sure they fixed that towards the end of the life cycle, but at the beginning, it was like Battlefield 4, I could tank with pretty much any class but the medic. You could take out a vehicle by yourself. You didn't need help from anybody. Now, it might have took a little bit of luck, but you had the ability to take out a vehicle 100% by yourself. Because most classes had C4, and they had enough C4 that you could run up on a tank if you wasn't paying attention and blow them up that way. Battlefield 1 didn't have that ability. You always were like 1 too short, and they were like, oh, we want to promote team play. Well, that doesn't fucking work, okay? Like, you're not promoting team play. I can't tell, especially on console. Nobody talks in game chat on console. Like, it's so aggravating. And then you had the weapon variants, right? Where it wasn't like Battlefield 4, you had a fuck ton of different weapons and a fuck ton of different attachments, right? Cool. That's not how it is in Battlefield 1. You had 5 weapons and they had variants, and the only difference between the weapon was an optic. You couldn't just take the optic off and customize it that way. No, that'd be too complicated. You had to literally unlock a whole new weapon that was the same gun, just had a different optic on it, or a different loadout to it. And that aggravated the fuck out of me so much, because that takes away from the battlefield. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand. You're extremely limited, being that you're in World War I. I get it, right? But geez, you fucked it up, right? I always said they should have went World War II instead of World War I. You know, whatever. I didn't really like the single player in Battlefield 1 either. I love Battlefield 3 single player, one of my favorite single players of all time. Battlefield 4 felt like took it a little over the top. Like, for me, a Battlefield game, single player has to feel very realistic, right? Like, that's kind of the genre of that game. So Battlefield 3 felt like did that perfect. Battlefield 4, you were like falling off of dams and survive. There was a lot of like over the top action bullshit that I felt like took me away from the single player. Nonetheless, played through it multiple times, multiple different platforms. So, you know, take that for what it is. Let's see what else. We have Battlefield 2, and then Battlefield 2 came out. Battlefield 1 single player. And, you know, it takes you through all the different characters. It felt very repetitive to me. I hated it. Did not enjoy it that much. So, all in all, wasn't too thrilled with Battlefield 1. Then Battlefield 2 got announced. Battlefield 5 got announced, sorry. And, man, I was disappointed when it wasn't a modern-day shooter. Like, okay, everybody wanted to go back to the World War, get a fresher breath air. Battlefield did that with Battlefield 1, right? Cool. Now let's go fucking modern day. But no, they went World War II, which wasn't too thrilled about, and I don't enjoy it that much for the same issues. You know, I want that modern day shooter. I want the modern day vehicles, jets, all that stuff. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of Battlefield 5. And I will say I haven't played it a whole lot. And this is, like I said, this is coming from somebody that is in love with the Battlefield franchise. So, with that being said, I'm disappointed in Battlefield 5, and I hope the next Battlefield will be a modern day shooter. Hopefully they don't fuck that up. I would love a Bad Company 3. That'd be incredible. Bad Company 2, for those of you that played it, they ended the story mode kind of off on a cliffhanger where it's like, oh, they're invading from, I think it was Alaska. So, I think it'd be dope. Revisit that single player, revisit all them characters, and then the fucking multiplayer would be insane. It'd be great. Moving on, E3 had FIFA. Couldn't give two shits about FIFA. Not a soccer fan. It's kind of boring to me. Don't really understand it. And then we had Madden, NFL 20. Cool. Madden, football. I used to play football. Don't really watch sports. I'm not a sports guy. The only sports I really watch are MMA. So UFC, Bellator, things like that. And I've been watching a little bit of boxing lately with the whole heavyweight situation we got now. Madden's one of those games where if I'm in that mood to play, it's a great game to switch it up. But it's not a game that I put hundreds of hours in. It's not a game where I gotta have the new one every year. I don't really get that. To me, it's the same game every year, but they make minor adjustments and people free, whatever. And then they announced Sims 4, which is cool. I know there's a huge Sims community out there. Gotta be honest, I don't know if there's a Sims 4 out already. There might be. So I'm a little ignorant on this, but my experience with Sims has always been a very cheater one. I used to play a lot of Sims, but I would always put in all the cheat codes to give you unlimited money, and you just build a giant house and have fun, things like that. I've never really played it for what it should be played as, and I haven't played a recent one. I probably haven't played a Sims game in over a decade. So, if you're a Sims fan, I'm sure that was a breath of fresh air. But I think for the most people, we would all agree that E3 really sucked ass this year. You had a over 3-hour press conference and you only talked about 5 things. 5. Slacking, EA. Slacking. And man, we thought 2018 was bad, and then 2019 was holding my beer. So moving on, I watched Square Enix a little bit. And right off the bat, they announced the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is dope if you like Final Fantasy. I've, again, never been one to get into it. Now, I'm about to get a lot of flack for this, probably, but I personally have never been able to play like the anime art style kind of games. For whatever reason, they just turn me off. I don't know what it is about it. I'm not an anime watcher. For one, I fucking hate reading. Reading puts me to sleep. And all the good anime shows are never in fucking English. So you always got to read the subtitles. I don't like reading. So I'm not fucking doing that. But I don't know, just something about it in general, man. I just do not like the anime art style. So like the Final Fantasies, the Kingdom Hearts, the Black Desert Online, the Dead or Alive, all those games, just that art style just turns me off. I'm not interested in it. Never really got into the Final Fantasy franchise. I know it's a great franchise. I know a lot of people love it. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea. So I really didn't care about that. If you love Final Fantasy, though, I'm assuming 7 is one of the fan favorites. This is great news for you guys, right? But to me, I could give two shits, to be honest with you. And then they went on to Life is Strange 2, which I am excited about. I will say, I believe I watched the first one on a playthrough. I haven't seen the new one that came out with the little boy. They announced the last E3 with the little boy, and he's like a superhero kind of in his imagination, life as a kid. Haven't seen that one. But dude, these games, the way they draw emotion, like just watching the little trailer, the little, I don't know what you would call it, the preview of like Life is Strange 2, just like, oh my god, I'm buying this on Steam. Mark my words, say it here, add it to my cart. I'm buying all of these on Steam, and I want to play through all of them. I think these are like one of those rare, it's almost like a movie, I think, right? Like Until Dawn or any of those, where it's just kind of like it walks you through it and you can make choices as you go. But for the most part, it's just like this experience that you're watching and enjoying. So, man, I love it. I love it. I love those type of games. I don't know. I love it. I'm picking it up. I'm going to play through it, and I'll be able to give y'all a better informed opinion later on when I actually play it. Because like I said, I watched Life is Strange original. I watched a full playthrough on that whenever that came out many years ago. So I don't remember a whole lot. And then that new one came out with the boy and the, his imagination, things like that. And I haven't watched or played any of that. So I'm excited to go and play the first one, play this one, or play the one with the boy, and then play Life is Strange 2, which actually you can play today, apparently. Which I guess today would have been when E3 first came out, so whenever this was, sometime 2 weeks ago. But dude, I'm excited. I love when game developers do this, where they drop some dope ass trailer, dope ass game, and then they're like, hey, you can play it right now, a week from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, whatever. Not like, oh, you like our game? Well, you can play it in 2025. And then after that, they announced Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Again, falls into the same kind of bubble as we said before. Moving on from that, they announced Octopath Traveler comes to PC. Now, I've seen this game a lot, and I've heard a phenomenal amount. I don't even know if that's a saying. A lot of good things about it, and a lot of people praise it for being this incredible game. Doesn't interest me, man. Does not interest me. The art style reminds me of a Minecraft texture pack. It does. One that I used to use. But again, that whole gameplay, art style, things like that, it's just not I don't know, it just doesn't grab my attention. I might be missing out, but for what it is, it's just not my cup of tea. And then they announced The Last Remnant remastered. Again, anime type art style, Dead or Alive, not my thing, but it was available right after they announced it, so that's dope for you guys that are into that. Dragon Quest Builders 2, woo, don't give a shit about. Falls under that same kind of anime-ish, I don't you know, maybe I'm being a little biased. Maybe I'm not being open enough to the idea of playing this, but man, I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea, which I guess would turn me off of a lot of Square Enix stuff, because that's kind of like their go-to thing, the kind of kiddie art style. Moving on, we got a new title, Circuit Superstars, and I'm excited about this one. It's a top-down racing kind of arcade type game, and I love those type of games, man. Like, I love like the goofy little racing games where you look down from like a bird's eye view. That's what I'm looking for. Bird's eye view. It looked dope. Didn't get a whole lot. Didn't talk about it that much. Just kind of like they announced with the little trailer. The devs talked about it for a little bit. Like, oh, we're so excited to bring this to you. And then show a little bit of gameplay. All I know is it's coming out 2020. Looks dope. I think that'd be a fun game if it has multiplayer to hop in and play with the crew. Get our drift on. But other than that, like I said, we didn't get a whole lot of info from it. But the art style looked dope. I think it'll be a fun game nonetheless. Then they moved on. See, this one was weird. This caught me off guard. Okay, so they moved on to Battalion 1944. Now, when I first saw it, I was like, cool, they're getting some kind of DLC, some big update. They're going to announce it. But no. They just talked about Battalion 1944, how it was now. I don't think they've ever done that. I don't think a game has ever came out, went on E3 in a press conference, not announced any new info, just advertise a game again. I don't think a game has ever fucking done that. I might be wrong, but as far as I can remember, a game has never done that. So that caught me off guard. And I found that to be very, very interesting. That they didn't announce anything new. It was just like a publicity stunt, I guess. Not really advertisement. That's more a marketing goof, or whatever you want to call it. Battalion 1944, if you haven't played it, fucking phenomenal game, man. If you love Call of Duty and you miss what it was, Battalion 1944 has you covered. It is a fantastic FPS. It feels great. It runs great on PC. Graphics aren't that intensive, so it's not. I don't think it's that big of like a powerhouse when it comes to running your PC. Most PCs should be able to run it. They have like skins that you can unlock. They have like a battle pass type thing. Oh my god, where are these shots coming from? They have a whatchamacallit, they have like their own competitive that they partner with Faceit with. Not a huge fan of it. Don't like the whole interface of Faceit and how that works. It was kind of a pain in the ass to get set up. And you know, Battalion 1944 is it's a weird one, right? Because I like to think I have great game sense and a deeper understanding for video games than most. And I kind of feel like it got reiterated when I watched Cyborg and Triston do their own podcast without me, and they were talking about E3, and I felt like they were missing a lot of points, and they're missing the idea behind what was really going on with a lot of games and things like that I picked up on, and I watched the same as them, if not at least. So I feel like I have like a deep understanding for video games and game knowledge, and being able to like see a situation and pick it apart and learn from it and all this. Battalion 1944, I cannot fucking figure it out. We have played, and by we I mean me, Triston, Cyborg, and then, you know, two randoms, whoever we get thrown in a game with, have been playing competitive. And we probably put in, I'm so sorry guys, we probably put in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 games now of competitive. We have not won a single fucking one. And I know what y'all are thinking, get good, right? But that's not it, man. I refuse to believe it's not it. Because, look, it's not like we're bottom of the leaderboards, right? It's not like our teammates are just carrying us and they know something that we don't. No, we're fucking top of the leaderboard, right? And maybe that's the issue, right? That we're the top of the leaderboard. We're top of the leaderboard. If I go into like the they call it arcade, but it's like where they have Dom, capture the flag, all that. I'm destroying kids. Top of the leaderboard every fucking... Dude, if I get another fucking yawn, I'm swallowing this toothpick and dying. I'm not bad at the game. or I don't think I am. Like I understand how FPS games work. I understand how to navigate, to move around the map, how, like the peaks, things like that. But we just cannot win, and I do not get it. Maybe there's obviously something I'm missing, and my little peanut brain just can't pick up on it. But it's so aggravating to me because like let's say a game of Call of Duty. Like if I lose a game of COD competitive, I can see where I went wrong. Like there's no way I lose a game of COD and I'm just like, I don't know how I lost it. Like I can see where I went wrong, what I did wrong, address it, and we can move on from there, right? Dude, I don't get it with Battalion. I don't know if we're playing against like full teams that are gods at this game, that are maybe like not in our rank bracket or whatever it is. I don't know. But we are constantly getting shit on. Constantly. And it is the most aggravating thing from our point of view. And then we can go to arcade and do perfectly fine. But, you know, it's like, I don't know, man. It aggravates the living hell out of me to no other that I just don't understand. Anyways, moving on from that, Battlefront 1944. It might be on sale with the Steam Summer Sale. If it is, I highly recommend you go pick it out. Oh my god. I gotta stop yawning, man. I'm gonna open up one of these Cokes, guys. Bear with me. It's gonna get loud. Let's see. We have they announced a Final Fantasy soundtrack. Cool. That's all I gotta say. Cool. Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC. Like I said, not into the Kingdom Hearts games. Just not my cup of tea, guys. Sorry. So, and then they announced another Final Fantasy. And you know, all these fall under that same umbrella that we've already talked about. What they did show, and not a whole lot of, was Dying Light 2. They showed another little trailer. In this, something was off about this fucking trailer. I don't know if it wasn't 60 FPS, but like watching it, I don't know what it was, but I was like, dude, something's off about this. It just feels weird. The trailer, like the way, I don't know. But they announced that that's coming out spring 2020. So that's cool. We finally got a release date. Dude, I swear to God. We finally got a release date, which is dope. If you haven't played the first Dying Light, I highly recommend you go play it. It was a phenomenal open world zombie survival game with the hardcore parkour. And it's co-op that you can play through with some buds, which is always good. I fucking love the first Dying Light, so I can't wait for this one. I am a little worried because it's been so long. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up the same. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with all the hype from the first one and make it as good. One of the things I liked the most about the first one was the when it turned night and all of them went like Super Saiyan. They just went super crazy, and it was a blast in the fucking past. But anyway, spring 2020, Dying Light 2. You know, it's shaping up to be a pretty fucking stacked year for 2020, especially in the first two quarters. So I'm excited. Romancing Saga 3, probably my favorite game ever. The first two were fucking phenomenal. Just kidding. Never played, never heard of these games. Could give two shits about it. Another Final Fantasy. Yay. Now this one did catch my attention. Outriders. This game looks insane. It's made by the people behind Gears of War Judgment, which was one of the mediocre Gears of War games, but Bulletstorm. Fucking love Bulletstorm. Phenomenal game that I wish they would come to reality with their pricing on Steam and drop it down. I think it's still at like $60 or something. Like, let's be honest. This game's been out 22 years. But it's made by People Can Fly, that studio, and it looks insane. It's coming out summer 2020, and it's basically a co-op 1 to 3 player drop in, drop out. It almost looks kind of Gears of War-ish. There's a ton of different guns, a ton of different enemy types, and that's really all we know so far. They didn't show a whole lot, didn't get a whole lot of info on it. All we know is, like I said, it's a 1 to 3 drop in, drop out co-op, survival, open world. I don't know how it's gonna take place, but it looks fucking sick, and I am extremely excited. And guess what? 1 to 3 players. Guess what Sitting Ducks is? Well, apparently it's only 1, but you know, in peak form we have 3. So that'd be a dope game to play through with all of us. Oninika, I don't even know how to say this game name, so don't care about it. Final Fantasy 8 remastered. Woo! Don't care. Marvel's Avengers, they announced that. Now, I'm not a superhero guy, right? I watch the movies, I like them, but that's all I do. I'm not like looking into them, not looking into all the comic books. Couldn't tell you who's on DC, who's on Marvel, right? Like, I'm not that into the whole superhero universe. Like, it's just not my cup of tea, right? So I didn't really care about this game. But as the trailer went on, it kind of piqued my fucking interest. I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong, I'm not buying it, but I will watch a playthrough now. You know, the whole bridge scene and then Captain America like going into whatever that core was, the ship goes down. It's like, oh my god, what happened? I will watch a playthrough on this game now. Will not buy it because fuck it. But I will watch a playthrough, and it did pique my interest. Now, I will say this is great news for all you superhero geeks out there. I'm excited. I'm happy for you guys that you finally got a good game. The gameplay, the little we saw, looked pretty dope, especially the Hulk. You know what? I wouldn't mind a new Hulk game. They released one on the 360, and that shit was fun as hell. Just running around, destroying shit. You could destroy whole buildings. Whole buildings in that game. It was so much fun. Release another one. That'd be dope. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up Square Enix. Most of Square Enix was just filled with bullshit that I just did not care about. That's great for a lot of gamers out there, because a lot of people this is great news for, right? But just for me personally, it's just not my cup of tea. So really, Square Enix, the only thing to really talk about, Life is Strange, dope. The Circuit Superstars, dope. Look forward to seeing more on that. Dying Light 2 and Outriders, and then Battalion 1944, but that's been out already. Like I said, that was kind of weird, a weird marketing ploy or whatever you want to saw. So moving on to Ubisoft. Now, I will say this: Ubisoft was the one I was the most excited for out of all these I was watching. Right? Ubisoft has Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Siege, Division, you know, all the games, and absolutely best game of all time, Just Dance. So I'm excited about Ubisoft. A lot of people don't like their games. It's real hit or miss. They do kind of recycle a lot of the mechanics over and over and over again in games. But for the most part, I enjoy their games. I saw that they started it off with Watch Dogs Legion, which is, if y'all wonder why I keep singing, it's because I keep yawning. And I do not understand. Let me sit up, man. Maybe if I sit up like a real fucking adult. My back kind of hurts. I think I slept on it wrong, but... Anyways, they started off with Watch Dogs Legion. Now, I should probably pick up Watch Dogs 2, because I heard that game was a lot better. But I've only played the first one. And the first one I was so excited for, so hyped. I even got my buddy to get it with me, Justin, at the time. And we were fucking so excited to play this game. Until the game came out. And we played it. And realized how horrible and repetitive and little to do in that game there was, and how the world just felt so empty. So with that being said, I wasn't very excited about the announcement of Watch Dogs 2, so I never ended up playing it. And then this Watch Dogs Legion, it takes place in London, which is and you know, a feature that they did announce, which I think is fucking dope. Is permadeath. The only other game I've ever seen permadeath in was State of Decay, and I think this kind of falls under the same umbrella in similar kind of mechanics, where Watch Dogs Legion, it looks like you build up a team to try to take back London from this evil corporation, this evil mercenary corporation, right? So you got to build up your team. State of Decay, you got to build up your camp, you got to build up your survivors, and dude, somebody needs to just walk in my room and punch me in the face with a pink dildo or something. I guess a purple one would work too. And you know, State of Decay, you got to build up your camp of survivors. But if one of them dies, If you die as your character, they're dead forever, and that's what they showcase in this. And I think that's a dope ass mechanic. It gives you a sense of urgency. It gives you a sense of like fear, almost like gear fear in a way for a single player game, which most times you don't get because most of the time you just die and respawn. So that's actually pretty dope, and I'm excited about that. And then they showed like this grandma just going fucking savage, dude, just beating the shit out of everybody. You know, I don't know. We'll see as more come out. I think this will be one that I'll wait until it comes out, all the reviews are in, because like I said, we got burnt so badly on the original Watch Dogs that I don't know if I'm ready to hop in. But if they have it marked down for a decent price on the Steam summer sale, I'll make sure to pick up the second one and give that a shot. And then oddly enough, following this, we went into a TV show called Mystic Quest, Raven's Brigade, I believe. And it looks like an Office kind of spin-off about video game devs. I'm all for it, man. It looks fucking hilarious. Well, I don't want to say hilarious, but it looks like a type of show I'd watch. I love The Office. It is a phenomenal show, which, by the way, Netflix just announced it's getting pulled from Netflix. The Office is getting pulled from Netflix, I believe, in 2021. So we still got some time, boys. But God, ruined my fucking day. So this looks like kind of like an Office with like about video game devs, and I don't know. It looks like it'll be interesting, so I'll definitely check it out. Don't know if they announced what it's coming out on. I don't know if it's like a Hulu or a Ubisoft or Uplay or Netflix or TV. I don't know, but it looks funny nonetheless, and I will be sure to check it out. And then they moved on to Rainbow Six Siege, which all of you know I love Siege. I think it's a phenomenal game, probably one of the best competitive, if not the best competitive shooter out right now. But they just talked about some stuff, some updates, stuff like that. I kind of skimmed through it, didn't really care about it, to be honest. Then we went on to Brawlhalla, which, I mean, it's like a kind of like a Smash Bros type thing. Not my type of game. Just kind of skimmed past that. And then we went to Ghost Recon, which I was excited to see more about this game. And they started off with this dope ass trailer of John just giving this amazing fucking is he not the best fucking dude that they could have possibly got for this? Like his voice, the way he talks, the way the speed. Oh my god, I had a raging boner through the whole thing. I thought it was fucking incredible. And then they took a fucking page out of Microsoft in Cyberpunk's book, and he came out on stage just like Keanu Reeves, and he had a nice little dog, which I'm sure a lot of people loved. Nice little pit bull mix, or I don't know, maybe it's a full-blooded pit bull, I don't know. He laid down on the little stage and just sat there and looked pretty. Well, laid there and looked pretty. And then John just went on to talk about how he was excited for it, and he you know, just how much he enjoyed playing the role and things like that. And then we got a little bit more info. It looks fucking dope, man. I cannot wait to play this game. It looks incredible. I know a lot of people didn't like Wildlands, Triston being one of them. Hashtag fuck Triston. He felt the game was very repetitive. There wasn't a whole lot to do. Again, I'm not saying I disagree with that, but games, like I've said many times, are what you make of them. And if you want to go in there and have fun and really try to make the game into something more than what it is on face value, I think you'll have a lot of fun with that game, as I do. I fucking love that game, have a blast playing it all the time. Well, not really all the time, but I had a blast playing through it. I thought the ending was pretty satisfying, kind of like a shocker. But all in all, enjoy it. Thought it was great. You know, the fact that John came out on stage with the little dog, I thought that was pretty cool. Thought it took a page out of Microsoft's press conference. I liked it. I dug it. I really want to get my hands on Ghost Recon, and I cannot wait for this fucking game. I think it's gonna be a blast in the past. And then they went to a fucking mobile game, a free-to-play mobile game, Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. I love the art style. I thought the art style was phenomenal. I'm a sucker for an art style. I like how they took all like mainstream characters from all the different games. They took Monty and Kavir from Siege. They took what's his face? They took what's his face from Ghost Recon. They took the guy from Splinter Cell. Can't think of his name. Wow, man, I'm really fucking slacking. And then they took and then they took the chick from I think Monica, the chick from Division. It looks, I don't know. Didn't really see any gameplay. Just saw the art style and they talked about it a little bit. Like I said, love the art style. Art style grabbed my attention right away. And I don't know if I think they said September the game was gonna come out. I don't know. I'm wanting to say there was some way to like sign up and you'd get like a elite Ghost Recon Breaking Point character in the game. I don't know. The game looks, and again, it's a mobile game though. Like, you know, like there's not really a mobile game out there I give a shit about except for RuneScape, OSRS Mobile. Shout out to those guys. But other than that, I mean, mobile games, I don't play games on my fucking phone. And then after that, we went into probably the best part of E3 2019, and that was just fucking dance. Just dance. They came on stage in the way that they kicked their toes in the air and twirled around. I don't know why they do. How many people could give a shit about just, I want statistics about how many people buy a new Just Dance game every fucking year. Like, what do they add more songs to it? Do they just keep the same songs and change the dance? I'm so fucking confused. It has to sell a decent amount for them to keep making new ones every year. But like, what? There's no way that's that big of a game. There's that big of an audience. I don't know. It's the cringiest part of E3 every year, and they did not disappoint this year. I'm just very curious. Like, how many people buy Just Dance? And out of those people that buy it, how many people buy it every year? And out of those people, how much hours do they put into it? These are all questions that the internet needs answered right now. And then moving on from that, we had For Honor, which I played a decent amount of. Well, I haven't played that much of it, if I'm being honest. I just did not enjoy the game. I know there's a fuck ton of bugs in it, and Triston will swear up and down about this game. So maybe I haven't gave it the shot that it really needs to really win me over. But I just can't get behind it. But they announced this new character, new group of characters. I don't know what you want to call it, with this forgot what they call it, like Shadow Chick. I can't remember for the life of me what they called it, but it's a new expansion for Honor. The little trailer, I'll be the first to tell you, For Honor comes out with some dope ass fucking trailers for other games, but you know, it's, for me, it's just too little, too late, man. For Honor turned me off very early with all their bugs, with all their issues, with the little gameplay that they had. That I don't think I'll ever get into the game. And I got the game for fucking free on Xbox, and I still no can do. And moving on from that, so this was an interesting one, and this is one I cannot fucking wait for to get more info. Rainbow Six Quarantine. Now, what's weird is it came out on stage instead of brand new game. I was thinking this was gonna be like a add-on to Siege, but I think this might be a standalone game, which is weird, because it has Rainbow Six in the name. I don't know. I hope it's just a DLC or an add-on to Siege. It might cost $20. I don't want it to be I say that, unless it's like a really in-depth game. I don't want to have to spend $60 for another Siege type game. But it's a 3-player tactical co-op, and you're fighting against some kind of parasite, some kind of monster type zombie creature. It looked dope. We haven't seen any gameplay. All we saw was like a little trailer, which, you know, trailers are always going to be fucking sick. But this game looked dope. And 3 players again, sitting ducks, me, Triston, Cyborg. But I cannot wait to get more info on this game. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, and I think this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to pick up. You know, we're kind of missing out on nice co-op games as of late. Like, there's not a whole lot of co-op games that really draw me in, that get made very often anymore. So the fact that this is coming out, I'm excited for. Now, I hope that it's not one of those games where it's like I can only play it with my friends. Where like games like not Just Cause, games like Evolve and things like that, like you can play multiplayer, but it's not nearly as fun as it is when you're just playing with a group of your buds. So I hope this isn't one of those type of games where I can't go through and play solo. Like Zombies, perfect example. I can go through and play solo all fucking day on the original Zombies. But with like Evolve, with that Michael Myers game, those are games where I feel like you need friends to get the most out of your experience, and friends are hard. Friends are hard. You can't just buy those, unfortunately. I've looked; they're not on Steam. I was hoping maybe the summer sale, but apparently that's not for sale. Then we went into Division 2. Again, too little, too late, man. Division, I feel like had its shot with the first one, and they kind of blew it. I've said this where the first Division beta, closed beta, and open beta were some of the most fun I've ever had in video games. I fucking loved playing the betas. And then the original game came out. It was very repetitive, not a whole lot to it, until you got to in-game. And then in-game was just and then you stop playing for a while, and you're so far behind everybody. It just was not the game that I was hoping it would be. And then Division 2 came out, and I thought the gunplay was a lot better. I thought overall the game was more enjoyable for me. However, when you got to the dark zone, it wasn't the same, man. People weren't just killing each other. Like in Division 1, I went there for fucking PvP, boys. In Division 2, man, everybody's doing PvE stuff. You're just looting chests, just walking past people. There's no real conflict, and it kind of aggravated me. But all in all, man, you know what I think it is? I think Division is trying to be realistic. Like, that's the whole purpose, right? Like, it's set in like this realistic thing, but then you make it an RPG, and I feel like you have a very hard time selling people on that. Like, if I have a 50 cal, just throw an example out, don't know if there's a 50 cal in the game, and I shoot you in the face 3 times and you're not dead, there's a part of my brain that wants to headbutt a fucking wall because it's a 50 cal. And I don't know if you can ever get rid of that stigma with doing these realistic type RPGs. I think it's always going to be hard because people have a preconception of what guns do. Right? Like, I know I own plenty of guns. Hell, I got my concealed carry right here. Like, I know what guns do. So when you're telling me I put thousands of rounds, hundreds, put mags of rounds into people and they're not dying, it's hard to sell me on it, and it's very aggravating. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. The only game that really uses guns effectively that I really enjoy is Division, but that's in a fantasy world, and you're not really using guns on people the way Division is. And it's not like a PvP game, so it's a little bit different, but that's the only looter shooter that I've ever played that I could really like get behind and say they pulled it off pretty well. Versus you have the medieval fantasy, which is what most RPGs are. It's a lot easier to sell me on, swords not doing damage the way that, you know what I'm trying to say. You get it. And then after this, you play Plus, which I don't really get this, man. I guess they're trying to compete with the Microsoft thing, but I don't think I'm alone in saying that I wish Uplay would just be fucking disbanded. I fucking hate Uplay. I hate in general all these different platforms. I wish everything was on Steam, didn't have to worry about all these different other browsers that you gotta have, like Uplay, Origin, now Epic Games. I don't want all these different launchers, but nonetheless, Uplay plus $15 a month starting September. I believe it's PC only, and you're getting all their titles, which I guess is cool. And they did say that you're getting the premium version of all their games, along with all the benefits of that. So all the skins, all the, I guess, DLC, all that stuff, which that's cool. I like that. But fucking Uplay, man, really? I just don't, and I do not like Uplay in the slightest. So I wish they would just disband that 100%. But I guess with them doing this, that's not going to be the case anymore. I don't know. We'll see how it is when it comes out. I'm assuming they're doing this to compete with like Microsoft's Game Pass and things like that. I do feel like $15 is a bit steep, considering, yeah, you have 100 games at the title, but I don't know. Maybe I'm talking on my ass. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section below. And then moving on to that, we had a little bit of a unique game called Roller Champions, and it reminded me of fuck, what's the name of that game? I cannot for the life of me think about it. Here, it is Rocket League. Rocket League. It reminded me of Rocket League in a way. Roller Champions is, it looked like you're in like a arena, basically a NASCAR circle, and basically roller derby. Think of roller derby. You're going in circles, and there's a ball, and each team has their own goal, and you got to like throw it in. It looked dope. Looked like it'd be a fun game to play, fuck around with friends. I'm sure it'll give me a lot of the same feelings Rocket League did when that first came out and I was playing that. But like I said, we haven't seen any gameplay on it. I think they announced like there was a beta going on, but with me watching this so late, I missed my chance on that, unfortunately. But all in all, the game intrigued me, and I want to see more of it. And I think that if it looks half as good as the beta did and as fun as it did, I think it'll be a good experience, and I think it'll be one that we will all enjoy. Now, whether or not it'll be the same effect Rocket League has, I don't know. Rocket League's very unique in that you have cars and boosts and these crazy arenas and things like that. Versus this, I don't know. We'll have to see when we get more gameplay on it. It looked cool and intrigued me. It looked like it'll be a lot of fun to play and sink your teeth into. But for now, man, I don't know. I didn't see enough gameplay. Maybe I could scour the internet and see if any people that played the beta or demo have any gameplay out, because that'll help out a lot. But for now, we're missing info, we're missing release dates, things like that. There's not a whole lot going on there. And then they finished off Ubisoft by Gods and Monsters, which almost looked like a kiddie version of Jesus, what's the name of that game? What is my brain doing today? My brain is just not working. Monster Hunter Worlds. That's what it looked like. It looked like a kiddie version of Monster Hunter Worlds. Again, I turned this press conference off short. I was watching the trailer of it. Didn't intrigue me that much. Maybe if I see some gameplay, it'll change my mind. Art style seemed pretty cool, like it, but I just don't like the Monster Hunter World style games. I don't know, not my cup of tea. So with that being said, that pretty much wraps up E3 as a whole. I think I got all the press conferences I wanted to. Don't really care about Nintendo. Sorry guys, don't own a Nintendo Switch. Feel like there's not a lot of games out there that are going to sell me on that console at the time being. Love the Wii, just not a Switch guy. So don't really care to watch that and comment on that, because quite frankly, I'll be talking out of my ass, and I don't want to be that type of person. So we got Ubisoft, Square Enix, and EA. EA, flush that shit down the toilet. Square Enix, we have Life is Strange 2, which is dope. Circuit Superstars, which is dope. Again, Battalion. It's kind of weird that was even on there. Dying Light 2, and then Outriders. Those are the ones to look forward to on Square Enix. And then Marvel Avengers, if you're into that, and all your Final Fantasy fans out there, you got a lot to look forward to there. Ubisoft, Watch Dogs Legions, one to keep an eye on. That Mystic Quest TV show, interesting. I don't think there's ever been a TV show announced at E3, so I guess there's a first for everything. Ghost Recon looks fucking sick. Cannot wait to try that out on my own. We have that mobile game, which nobody gives a shit about. Obviously, the best part of E3 2019 was Just Dance 20, I think they said. Something crazy like that. For Honor came out the new DLC. Rainbow Six Rainbow Six Quarantine. Looks dope. Can't wait to see more on that. Division 2, Too Little, Too Late. Uplay Plus. Wish I would just get rid of Uplay as a whole. Roller Champions looks intriguing to me. Looks like it might be a fun game. Just fuck around it with some friends. And then Gods and Monsters, a kind of kiddie version of Monster Hunter Worlds. And that's going to wrap up E3 2019. Better late than never, right? I know it took me a while to get around to this, and I do apologize, guys. And look, I'm going to try my darndest to get the rest of the squad on for next week, okay? We need to get back on top of things. I don't know why they've been slacking very much when it comes to all this stuff, and I'm terribly sorry, guys, because I do not want that to be the case. I hope y'all enjoyed this week's podcast. Like I said, we're just kind of going over E3. This one was a little bit more structured. I wrote everything down, and I don't know. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Are you excited for any of these things? Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? I'm trying to get everything in order to upload the rest of these horror things for this month's horror month. Outlast, Cyborg has finished playing through it. It just needs to go up. But I'm waiting for Cyborg to send me stuff so we can get the thumbnail situated. Triston, like I said, I haven't talked to him. Don't know what's going on there. Hope everything's all right. I know he just moved into his new apartment with this girl, so I'm assuming life things are happening with him. But I hope he's doing well. Don't know how the Soma thing's going, but whenever that gets finished, we'll be uploading Soma. So with that being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's podcast with yours truly, Pitbullkid. And with that being said, make sure to follow us on social media. Everything will be in the description below. Check out past videos, my Layers of Fear 2 playthrough, Escape from Tarkov, and Human Fall Flat, and then the other 27 podcasts we've done. And guys, do not forget, leave a comment down below. I will see y'all in the next video. Take it easy, boys and girls.